back to Uddevalla in Sweden. It's the MXGP of Sweden, round 12 of the 2014 World Championship. First time we came back here was 1961. The Swede Sten Lundin was the winner that day. And he's the only rider of Sweden to win this round. We've now had 35 different winners in all classes. Belgium is the most successful with 11, KTM were the most successful with 14, Stefan Everts the most successful rider with 6 victories. If you're joining us for the first time, where have you been all day? Because we're about to get underway with MXGP Race 2. Uddevalla is the venue for this 12th round of MXGP. The MXGP of Sweden, just there southwest of the country, out on the coast in what is a very, very beautiful part of the world indeed. About an hour north of Gothenburg. Circuit itself situated in a rock quarry, and the 1,530 metre long circuit here in the opposite direction to what we've been running in previous years. So quite a long, wide start straight into a slightly downhill banked left-hand turn. And so far this weekend, we've had no dramas through there, so all good on that front. Tony Cairoli arrived here at the start of the weekend, 25 points clear of Commander Sal, but in a moment you will see that, well, from race 1, that might have changed a little bit as we head into this second race. The riders just getting in from their sighting lap. The hill people are still here. Got a bit of a showering halfway through MX2 race 1, but the sun is out. It's about 25 degrees, so it's all good so far. Well, earlier on in the day, MXGP race 1 got off to a flying start. It's Antonio Cairoli on the Red Bull KTM who pulled the foxhole shot. Commander Sal, Sean Simpson tried to go with him up the inside. Sal stayed there in second position. But Strybos was pushing on as well, the 22, and so too was the 89 of Van Hoorbeek. Found a way past Frossard and Strybos in the opening couple of laps to get himself up into third place and go after Commander Sal. Meanwhile, Strybos, who was around 7th on the opening lap or so, started to close in on Frossard in the battle for 4th place. As Cairoli, in the early stages of the race, as you would imagine, came under attack from the 25 of Commander Sal. And these two really, the main two protagonists in the championship, not ruling out Jeremy Van Hoorbeek at all. That's still a possibility for him because he's only, he's less than a moto behind anyway in the point stakes in that respect from Commander Sal. So Van Hoorbeek here in third, looking to minimise the risk. Well, he went after Commander Sal while he was out there on his own. Frossard, though, started to close in on that 183 Monster Energy Kawasaki, and he was bringing with him the hard-charging Kevin Strybos. Max Nagel, number 12, made a poor start down in 16th position. He passed the 111 of Dean Ferris to move up into 11th. Ferris riding the Ice 1 Red Bull Husqvarna. De Salvo started to lose ground to Cairoli and came under a pressure from 183 Frossard, the 22 of Strybos. They battled over second position. Frossard was the first to blink, though, and he made a mistake. That allowed Strybos to go around the outside. That put him up in the 4th on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. Then he went after Jeremy Van Hoorbeek on the Yamaha factory machine, who swung around the outside, easily made the pass over the Monster Energy finish line. That put him into 3rd. He went after his teammate, where there are no team orders, despite De Sal being 25 points behind Cairoli with a handful of rounds left in the series. De Sal, though, you could see, not looking comfortable on the hard slick surface in Moto number 1. And he was trying to do the whole damage limitation thing, but it wasn't long before Strybos found a way. 3 laps in the end was all it took to find a way past his teammate. That pushed the 22 up into 2nd position, but he wasn't able to catch Cairoli. De Salvo came under pressure and was being pushed backwards as Van Hoorbeek charged through into 3rd place. De Sal would eventually have to finish for 4th in that rockstar roll on that Suzuki. Frossard came home 5th ahead of Tommy Searle in 6th on the CLS Monster Energy Kawasaki. Sean Simpson rode a great ride to come home in 7th on the Hitachi KTM, ahead of Didika, Nagel and Philippart. But no one was a match for Kai Rowley in moto number 1. And the Sicilian came home 4 seconds clear of Strybos and Van Hoorbeek. Right, Amy Dargan is down on the grid, getting ready to speak to Rui Gonçalves.
It's almost time for MXGP Race 2. Let's have a check-in with Rui Gonçalves. Rui, just wanted to really check in with you with your season. How do you feel it's gone? What do you want to do in these last few races?
Yeah, obviously the goal is to try to improve every time, and this weekend is a tough weekend. You know, I'm sick since Friday. I've been between medication and lying in bed. There's not much else I couldn't do. You know, just before the moto we checked the fever and I was quite high, so took some medication and hope it will help. But it's not definitely the best one, but I'll try to make the best of it.
And we're now pretty much into the silly season. Have you got any solid plans for next year yet?
No, not yet. You know, the goal is, like I said, try to improve every time and then see what is going to be for next year. But definitely now just focus on this weekend, try to overcome the illness, and then try to get as much points as possible, and then we'll talk about it.
Thanks, Rui. Hope you feel better soon. Right, let's go back to commentary.
Tony Kai Rowley then, after winning moto number 1, is now 32 points clear of Clément de Sales. So de Sales needs to pull more than a rabbit out of the hat to get that gap back down to somewhere respectable. That's more than a moto again for Kai Rowley. De Sales was the winner in the qualifying race yesterday. That determines the grid position. So Clément de Sales goes to the line first at his teammate Kevin Strybos. And Stephen Frossard, Tony Kai Rowley, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Sean Simpson, Ken Didika, Max Nagel, Tommy Searle and Dean Ferris. Guarneri 11th, Philippart's 12th, Podosek, Watson, Bengtson, Turissen, Larson, Ulrich, Gonçalves, Tanel and the rest. Davide Guarneri takes his position alongside Antonio Kai Rowley on the start line there, on that number 39, Richie TM. Just Max Nagel there, number 12, HRC Honda. But Clément de Sales, Rockstar Energy Suzuki, World MXGP, second in the World Championship standings at the moment, has the first gate up the inside. And de Sales, in the last 5 GPs, since Spain, been on the podium 4 times, would have been in Italy as well at Maggiora had he not had that big crash in moto number 1, but he's had 3 GP wins in that time, in Spain, in France and in Germany, just a 2nd in England and a 4th in Italy. That was either side of the win in France. Tony Kai Rowley in that same period of time, 4th, 1st, 3rd, 1st and 5th, so just the 2 GP wins for Kai Rowley on the Red Bull KTM, but he is still leading the championship by 32 points. There's Dennis Ulrich on the Holtz KTM 149, Nikolai Larson 249, Philip Bengtson, the local boy, number 664 alongside him, Nathan Watson 991 on the Red Bull Ice One Husqvarna. We just saw Van Hoorbeek and Kai Rowley, Guarneri, Strybos, Ferris, Simpson, Hitachi KTM, Frossard, Monster Energy Kawasaki, alongside him the 100 of Tommy Searle. De Sales up the inside though, gate number 1 for him. Ingo Parch, our race director, bringing this race under starters orders. A 15-second board goes up now. Ken Didika making 1 or 2 last-minute adjustments to his goggles there as de Sales trying to psych himself up for the start of this 2nd MXGP race. Monster Energy 5-second board goes up now. We're getting ready to go racing once again, and Max Nagel needs a good start. Ferris looked like he caught the gate there pretty badly as he went over, and he's buried it! Oh! That is a big crash, and that's taken out Clément de Sales. Van Hoorbeek as well, I think. Oh, and de Sales is hurt. De Sales is hurt.
Is that his right shoulder?
I don't know if it's shoulder or anything
It's not
else.
Van Holbeek, it's Tanel Leok.
Well, Tanel Leok as well is down, and that was a big cartwheel. So this race already blown apart right at the very first turn. It's the first incident that we've had on this first corner as well all weekend long. Cairoli leading the way. Van Holbeek is there in second. It was Leok in the blue that went down. Guarneri gets a good start in third. Nagel in fourth, but that was a long way to cartwheel down that straight, and De Sal is in a lot of discomfort. And if it is that shoulder, well, then he can kiss his season goodbye once again, Adam Wheeler.
It looked as though he'd been tagged by his teammate there, or Stryber set up the inside, and De Sal just didn't have anywhere to go. We'll get a replay of it in a moment, but like you say, Paul, that was a scarily fast place to go down. Here we go, look. Just watch on the inside there. The first car was the Cairoli's in the front. There's De Sal on the inside with his teammate.
Yeah.
It's 22, Kevin Stryber. De Sal has nowhere to go, hits the bank on the inside, and that's when it all starts.
Yeah. And he gets buried by bike after bike after bike. And he's here. Look.
Someone here laying on top of him there.
32.
Podisek.
And there's another guy there in blue, Tanel Leok, who does not need another injury. He's already pretty much walking wounded with ankle injury. So, well, as soon as we get news on De Sal, we'll bring it to you. But that did not look good there. And if he has to miss one round, that's the championship done.
Yeah. I mean, how many points? 25 points behind
32.
32.
Going into the start of the race, but Tony Cairoli, once again, putting himself right where he needs to be, staying out of trouble. And, you know, they've obviously cleared the scene as the riders come through, but there's a rider being attended to here as well, so somebody else going down. There's Tanel Leok picking himself up. He'll just ride straight back. His teammate goes by there. Guarneri in third place, Nagel fourth, Strybos fifth, Searle sixth, Frossard seven, Bengtson eighth, Philipparts 9, Gonsalves 10, Caro, Simpson, Gertcher, Ferris 14th, Ulrich, Bracker, Nathan Watson 17th, De Dijker 18th, Gustafsson and Nikolai Larsen. There your top 20 riders.
There we go, there's De Sal. He's on his back.
Back and
actually,
just wonder as well, you know, back in their ribs and things like spleen and soft tissue damage, you know, and I know riders that they don't have a mark on them. Lacerated liver comes to mind as well, you know, they get that change of colour, that peakiness, and they, you know, so they'll be monitoring all the vital signs there, the medics.
But like you said, Paul, I mean, first your first concern is for his health, but then, you know, in sporting terms, in terms of the World Championship and all that work that's been done over the last sort of 6 months, it's, you know, 25 points is such a huge loss if Tony Cairoli goes on to win this and Clement De Sal, you know, picks up, well, he's going to take a big zero, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but that becomes 57 or 58 points then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With the 32 deficit now, so.
Well, Van Holbeek on the factory Yamaha is second in this moto, and he's going to move up to second in the championship.
Well, look at the guy in red there on that blue TM, Davide Guarneri, not been this far up the field since his MX2 days, probably.
No, and two Kawasaki's behind, Stephen Frossard, Tommy Searle.
Searle leading the way, as he just came out of that turn there, so this will be good for Tommy Searle as well to try and get himself a decent finish, because, you know, obviously the first part of the season was absolutely blighted as he comes across Frossard, who read it well. He was fast through there yesterday, Frossard, and likewise again now. He'll go round the outside and square it back, will he? Well, Podisek comes in. He's okay, stiff neck though. Girlfriend Megan Lewis looking on anxiously, as you'd imagine, after that big crash involving, well, a bunch of riders. Frossard almost going down.
Just about getting himself set there for the jump. One of the few big ones on this track.
Great crowd here today, actually. Bigger than I've seen it in a long time here at Sweden.
Right around the periphery as well. You don't usually get sort of, you know, people all the way around these sections. Just pockets of public just trying to find a decent space. It's one of those tracks that's so undulating and so set into this landscape that you kind of have to find the best little section to watch rather than get an overall view.
Van Holbeek just tagging one of those markers. He came up into the corner there. He was the fastest man on track last time around, Jeremy Van Holbeek, but still a couple of seconds down on Cairoli, who leads the way here. We look at Frossard, 183 on that Monster Energy Kawasaki, looking to chase the dirt, looking for any kind of traction, that rear wheel grappling with those marbles there. Saw him lose the front just a moment ago. Doesn't want to lose the rear as well.
Cairoli's sole threat for a Grand Prix victory to prevent him in the overall is Kevin Strybos in 5th place, 5 seconds down. Strybos really has to go.
Philip Bengtson there, just ahead of David Philipparts in 8th place. So the Swedes got something to cheer about in this race. Sorry just to interject there, Adam, but obviously those guys here have not had a Swedish victory since the very first GP here, 1961, Bill Nilsson on a Monarch. So tells you how long ago that was. Max Nagel, another rider who'll be looking to improve his prospects here in this second moto. 9th in the first race after starting outside the top 20 in race 1.
Oh, it's a terrible start.
Not had that thing hooking up for him this weekend, has he, in terms of gates? And
no.
Normally one of the better starters. Guarnieri, fastest lap of the race on lap 2. Didn't think I'd hear that coming out of my own mouth in an MXGP race. No disrespect to him, but we don't normally see him up the sharp end here.
Well, maybe
putting himself in that position.
Maybe he's kind of riding around now thinking at last, you know, with the
Good to see DeSalle walking, but does not look happy, as you can imagine. Joel Smet's there with him as well.
Like you said, like internally, I wonder if there'll be any words spoken in that team afterwards, because I think Clement's going to feel that he was squeezed against that banking there.
Thing is, if you've got the advantage on somebody, you don't always have a chance to look over your shoulder to see. So it's not like they started together gate side by side. You know, DeSalle had the first gate. Strybos was maybe 4 or 5 or 6 over. So he sees he's got an advantage going in. He's going to be getting closed down by... He's dictated to what Cairoli's doing, all the other guys here. So, you know, DeSalle, you could see how he was completely locked up trying to avoid the rear wheel. And a little bit second hand. Yeah, he's been ridden over and all sorts, hasn't he?
But then also Kevin Strybos, you know, I don't think it's too unfair to say that start of this moto was probably one of the most important of the season for him, because if he made that whole shot, got out in the front, like he's done on 1 or 2 motos this year already, then he was really on for the Grand Prix victory. But now, you know, David Guarneri's taking some pressure from Max Nagel. Strybos really has to get in there, otherwise, well, I don't think he's going to blow a potential podium, because DeSalle's also gone out, but, you know, that GP victory is just ebbing away.
This part of the circuit here illustrating the differences in the surface. Nice and dark in the shade over there. Looks like there's a lot of traction. Through this bottom corner, traction. At the end of this straight, nice and soft and loamy. Big braking bumps. You know, lots for the riders to think about. Tyre choice as well. Suspension settings. Because then when you get through here, everything starts to firm up, gets hard and slick. Big, choppy, square edge bumps. And then at the bottom of the downhill, where the old turn 2 used to be, hard, rutty, gnarly, chewed up ruts and bumps like you would not believe. So it's not... You know, the racetrack, in terms of what these guys are having to deal with, there's just so much going on, Adam.
It's like 2 different animals as well. I mean, you know, 3 or 4 even. The riders just, I spoke to now after the MX2 second moto, just saying the same thing, you know. It was just some places you had grip, some places you really needed strength to ride over the bumps, and it's really hard work, mentally as well as physically.
Yeah. Frossard still trying to find a way past Tommy Searle, those two fighting over 6th place, but Van Hoorbeek, this is getting interesting, isn't it? 3rd in moto number 1, but the thing is, he could find a way past Cairoli, and Cairoli still win the GP.
Well, Cairoli's just done the fastest lap of the race, Paul, so if Van Hoorbeek's hanging with him, then he's, well, look, I mean, the difference was...
6 hundredths.
Yeah, well, yes, hundredths, beg your pardon. Guarneri just losing a place now to Nagel. That could be the beginning of the end, because Strybos is going to be hunting him next, and then the 2 factory Kawasaki's behind him.
Good for TM, though.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, that's probably as a relief, you know, that start of...
Replay of the start from all angles coming. Brace yourself.
So just watch on the inside of the bank there.
Strybos is in
on the inside gate.
Gate number 1.
Position.
Strybos is about 6 over, look. So DeSalle already locking up. Gets hit by Potazek, who had nowhere to go. Then he gets hit right in the back in the ribs by maybe someone like Tureson, I think. So that was the nail in the coffin for DeSalle.
He's just been beaten up, really, hasn't he?
Strybos escaped it. He would have probably said, yeah, I felt somebody attack, but he wouldn't know that it's his teammate. You know, he's just, like I say, everybody's funneling in as what happens in the first turn. And
I mean, is that down to DeSalle really to back off then and just, like, you know, give himself a bit more room?
I mean, he was already squeezed, wasn't he, in the bank? Nowhere to go. Didn't get the jump, and the jump is the all-important part. You get that, you come across those guys and make them push out, but that's not what happened, and he went down. He's out of the race. Kevin Strybos, just over 20 minutes plus 2 laps to go in this second MXGP race. And the number 22 Rockstar Energy Suzuki rider in 5th place, going after David Guarneri on that Ritchie TM factory bike. That one and the one that went down at the first turn, the only 2 like it in the world. Very unique. Very similar to the Yamaha in terms of they've got the air filter at the front, and they've shifted everything around for that central mass. Centralization of mass, you know, right in the middle for stability and that kind of thing. But just taking a look over his shoulder, will he make Strybos work hard for it? You betcha. because Guarneri there in 4th place. Not going to relinquish this. In those retro colours as well that he wore in Maggiora from 1979, you know, the big boss of TM. Rode a red TM that day, of course, in Maggiora.
Strybos cannot afford to lose another lap here.
No.
He needs to get after Nagel just ahead. He's going to have to do... There we go.
There we go.
Guarneri's not going to have enough to come back at him. So Strybos up to 4th.
Riding with a hand injury as well, Guarneri. Broken the top part of the index finger on the right hand last week. So riding through the pain barrier. Got a decent ride in Moto number 1, I think, did he?
Yeah, the big story of the Grand Prix, Conor de Sal out 0 on the scorecard. That'll be his first of the season, I think. First DNF.
Yeah, for Clement, and you cannot afford DNFs, can you?
Not against Tony Cairoli.
On the run as well, just talking about a moment ago, the last 5 GPs since Spain, on the podium 4 times.
Well, it's strange how things switch around, isn't it? Because it was here 2 years ago where Tony Cairoli got stuck in the mud. You know, we had like a lot of rain, a lot of kind of ooze around, and that KTM just like buried itself. Then he had a stone in the rear brake once. But basically, he conceded 50 points to Clement de Sal that day.
Yeah.
And now it's the other way around, and he's lost 25.
Tommy Searle down the inside of Guarneri, didn't know he was there, and takes evasive action. So Guarneri looked boxed in, and I wonder if he lost another position there as well to Frossard. Yeah, he did, look.
He's not going to be thankful for that afterwards, is he?
So Guarneri goes from 5th to 7th then in the space of about 30 metres. As Tommy Searle charged through.
Hard move, or?
No, not really. Just didn't know he was there, did he? Would have heard the bike come down the inside, but it's down to him to look.
Let's keep an eye on.
Is that me being old school?
Yeah.
Or are these guys wrapped in cotton wool
You're
now?
exercising your diplomacy as ever, Paul. Let's keep an eye on Kevin Strybos, see what kind of lap times he can do now, whether he can settle into this race.
Tommy's just getting out of shape. In fact, my argument would be Tommy probably doesn't ride as hard as he should on a more regular basis. But the last couple of races, actually, Germany, he was riding really good coming through the field. On more than one occasion.
Stephen Frossard.
But attacking, yeah, there's a word. Frossard looking for a way through. Watch this here. Tommy Searle just a moment ago. Out of shape, back end, look at that, up on the bank. Could have tweaked a knee or an ankle there very easily.
Just a little assist.
Frossard looking to square off again like he did a couple of laps ago. Swing left, swing right.
It looks good, but it's not going to work, that, is it?
Although it has.
Oh, so
and keeps the momentum around the outside. It'll never work.
Little mistake there, I think. An assist by Tommy Searle and Frossard through.
And then he was forced a long way around as well. He couldn't get back over those lonely berms through that first part. So you can see he's lost 2 or 3 bike lengths there to Stephen Frossard. Frossard in moto number 1. Where was he? 5th. Tommy Searle was 6th. So advantage once again to Stephen Frossard in terms of overall position in this GP. Tony Cairoli, 4.2 clear of Van Horbeke. Nagel 3rd, Strybos 4th. Searle has now been passed, so he's in 6th because Frossard is 6th. 5th. But Cairoli would win the GP, 50 points. Van Horbeke would be 2nd on 42. Strybos would be 40 points for him. Nagel 32. And so then Frossard, then Searle.
If Strybos takes another position, he's going to be runner-up, isn't he? So
yeah.
That's the only kind of major shift we could see for podium places.
But in terms of the championship, Tony Cairoli would be on 5.27. And Van Horbeke, there's the other deciding factor.
Up to 2nd now.
And that gap, 45 points. De Sal, 12 points further back.
What have we got after this? 5 more Grand Prix, 10 more motos.
It's not over.
No.
Oh, Frossard just getting out of shape.
I'll tell you what, Searle's not out of this yet. Just 1 or 2 mistakes by Frossard, just like Searle did on the last 2 laps.
And we've seen, haven't we, the last... Again, those holes there, they were there all day long, actually. Looking a little bit loose on that Kawasaki is Stephen Frossard.
A few, actually, journalists, well, photographers around the track are saying that Frossard really on the ragged edge, you know, really like pushing the limit in the first moto. So you just wonder how kind of close he is to
going down.
Yeah, some sort of mistake. And Nagel just churning out the laps, and you know, hasn't looked too impressive this weekend. Nothing like he did in Germany last week. Okay, home Grand Prix and all that, but you know, just trying to pass people has always been like one of his not weak points, but it's always been something he's struggled with now and again, depending on the track. Yeah,
nicely picked up there and recovered Jeremy Van Horbeke. But you know what we're going to talk about here, don't you? Another overall podium visit for Jeremy Van Horbeke on the number 89, and along with it, he'll inherit 2nd position. You know, at the demise of his teammate, his countryman, Clement de Sal, going down at turn 1. But hey, it's a World Championship at the end of the day. He'll take it whichever way, won't he?
And Strybos has set his best lap on the last one, Paul, so the charge begins. Is he going to have enough time? Just needs to take one more position away from Max Nagel, and will take second place away from Jeremy Van Horbig on the podium.
So we'll keep an eye on that then. That yap sounds nice, actually.
11 podiums in a row, Van Horbig trying to secure here today.
Yep.
I think Cairoli has the record in the modern era of MX1, MXGP in the Premier class. 13 achieved last year, was it, or the year before? So, you know, Van Horbig on 11, 13 in a row to aim for. Cairoli ratched up. It couldn't have been 2012 because it was here in Sweden where he had that double DNF. So it was last year Cairoli made 13 in a row.
Max Nagel. One of those days for him, hasn't it? Third at the moment, but...
And where's he going to go next year? Apparently could still be on that Honda for a third season in a row. Also been linked to Husqvarna.
No, there's a couple of riders in with a shout at Honda, but it's just which ones. There's one very prominent name keeps popping up and apparently is a done deal, but without it being a signed, sealed, delivered deal at the moment, you know, would it be right to talk about it or not?
I don't think there's any official confirmation, but everybody's talking, you know, about Gautier Paulin being heavily linked to that seat, Paul. So it's, you know, whether we'll wait to the press release to see, you know, if it's true and it's going to be for 2 years. But if he does move out of the factory Kawasaki into the factory Honda team, then that's the big transfer move of the year, isn't it?
And then after that, you've got Tommy Searle at CLS Kawasaki, back end of Van Horbig, catching that hole there. And obviously the other talk is if Paulin does leave Kawasaki for a Honda, as is rumoured, and is, you know, a possible scenario, then the other thing is Tommy Searle at CLS Kawasaki, do they continue with an MX1 rider? Does he then get bumped upstairs and run alongside Crossard? A lot of talk linking Villapoto with a move to Europe next year. I think possibly not. I think he will stay another year in the US, but lots of if, buts, and maybes. This guy, he's not going anywhere.
Jeremy Van Horbig, yeah, he'll be on that Yamaha next year. Would
Kawasaki take a chance with Max Nagel, for instance, if that was the case? If he is pushed out of the door at Honda? You know, his former mechanic, Remy, there, of course, speaks German and is German, isn't he? So there's a contact there, there's a connection there.
Well, there could even be a second Yamaha next to Van Horbig. You know, Nagel could be in the frame for that, but there's plenty of ifs and buts, isn't there? But, you know, Gautier Paulin moving to Honda, if it all happens and is made official, then, you know, that opens the door at Kawasaki for Ryan Villapoto to fulfill that last year in green, you know, rather than calling it a quits altogether. So that's kind of the big kind of gossip and talk in the paddock at the moment, Paul. But, you know, it's CLS, Kawasaki, the bike that Tommy Searle's currently riding in 6th position. By all intents and purposes, they're not going to be running a 450 next year. So Tommy Searle, if he wants to stay on Kawasaki, he's now got the perfect window of opportunity at KRT and on Gautier Paulin's bike for next year. Yeah.
This guy here, though, Jeremy Van Horbig, has been the surprise package, hasn't he? The Kawasaki, when I had Steve and when I had Francois Lemarié on the show earlier on in the season, I said, just really quick, are you surprised at the performances? He said, no, we knew that that's what he could do. But obviously he's left and gone to Yamaha this year. You speak to Michele Rinaldi, no, but we are surprised at the consistency of, you know, and the frequency of the podiums, you know.
Well, he cites it just down to being able to do exactly what he wants with that factory bike. You know, the Yamaha gave him a real, like, kind of open page and said, make that bike how you want it. And, you know, the status of being the only rider in the team, therefore the rider, number one rider, means that
he's outside influence.
Yeah, he's just made that bike completely how he wants it. So it's everything from the suspension to the engine character, and it's one recipe to go racing, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a feature on him in Germany, like one of our team reports, and he was saying that in the beginning, when he first joined them, yeah, the bike was really, really nice to ride, but then when I came in with some ideas, the team were like, first of all, right, okay, that doesn't sound right, but we'll go with it. And he said, slowly but surely, they've come around to my way of thinking, how I want a motorcycle set up. And the proof is in the pudding, as they say. You know, 11 consecutive podiums almost here, you know, certainly 10 on the bounce at the moment.
Sean Simpson, British Championship leader currently. Maybe got a little bit stuck in that first corner melee because he was 3 laps into the first moto before he lost use of the rear brake. So,
bit of a pitch there. See what I mean? How chewed up the track is around here. Lots of crowning rock laying there, square edge bumps, and coming out of here as well. Some big holes. There was a little bit more dirt there because over the years they did add a little bit of sand in there, didn't they? Just to sort of deepen up and loosen that. Yeah. And I think there are still remnants of the sand in there. But Nathan Watson, where's he now?
12th.
Not a bad ride.
Yeah,
it's a very good ride.
Second appearance.
14th in Moto #1. He's clocking up them points for the Red Bull Ice One Factory Husqvarna squad, and this is why the team have got him and Dean Ferris in there, isn't it? Just to Ferris, obviously 16th, a little bit ring rusty, I would say, at the moment. First major race back, and also it's not like an American National where he would have ridden, just a one-day race affair. That's the thing that separates, isn't it, the American Series for the World Championship in MXGP, is how much tougher it is. It's 2 days of riding. The races are the same duration on Sunday, but we're riding and racing all day on Saturday as well. So the physical element, the physical demands on top of the travel to ride MXGP are far more brutal and taxing, you would argue, than a one-day national out there.
And also the track is changing so much. What you're riding on Saturday is not necessarily what you get on Sunday.
Yeah.
Particularly when you take the weather into account. But the Diker, his chief problem this year has been riding since round 4 or 5, I think. Just a lack of feeling in his wrist. 10 minutes, and he says he's done. He can't really feel like the fingers there on his clutch hand. So until he gets that plate taken out of the wrist, pre-season injury, then we're not really going to see the best of Ken, possibly until next season. But rumoured to stay is Tony Cairo's teammate in Red Bull KTM, David Philippart's number 19 there. He's running his own team for the first time this year. Currently, apparently in discussions with Yamaha to take a second rider, maybe in MX2 or MXGP for 2015.
Yeah, and again, you can speculate as to how many riders and which riders he might be talking to there, but his best result of the season, 5th overall at Maggiore. He was on our studio show again the week after that in Germany, and he said that was as good as a win. Having to do it the hard way like this, setting it up from scratch, and running it, becoming a team manager, rider, owner, and everybody's kind of like go-to person in the team. Italy was already a busy weekend for him anyway, so lives not far away from there. So very much a home GP for him. There's Matis Caro. He's had a very quiet day today, hasn't he, as well? 9th at the moment in the second race on that Wilvo Fortran KTM. He was 19th in the first race. He had a bad start, came from 27th, made rapid progress through to 21st, but then everyone else was too far away from him.
Well, we've seen two kind of storylines in this race, Paul, because with Clement de Sal picking up a DNF, thankfully looking okay. Then Jeremy Van Horbig pushing up to second in the championship. Tony Cairoli's nearest challenger. But also we were just looking at Sean Simpson a minute ago. He's now going to be slipping to 5th, I think, in the championship. That's why he was trying to pass Rui Gonçalves for some more points. But he'll be overtaken by Stephen Frossard. So.
Just noticed Matis Caro, sorry, not Matis Caro, but Dean Ferris, he's out of the race. He's pulled in, he's down pit lane. So I'm guessing 2 motos and 2 days of riding at GP level. Possibly just a little bit too far.
Just like he said to you yesterday, it's his first motocross race in 9 months. Just those injuries in the States, a wrist break, and also just an energy kind of sapping virus, just making a lack of race time. Strybos hasn't really come through like we saw in the first moto, has he?
No. Frossard not too far away either, closing, and look at that. Fastest lap of the race on lap 12 for Stephen Frossard as he goes in pursuit of Kevin Strybos here, the number 22 on that Rockstar Energy Suzuki. So Frossard might be riding a little bit loose and on the edge, but it's working for him here.
Just wonder if Kevin's getting a little bit of the arm pump problems, but I mean, to be fair, he's still going after Max Nagel. You just see him bobbing his head because he's just trying to avoid all those three-way stones coming up at him.
Three-way fight for third now. Nagel, Strybos, Frossard closing in. Yeah, the guys are just picking that up over the front there. There's some horrible holes at the side of that you can't see.
Oh!
Strybos right into the side of Nagel there. Suddenly closing in hand over fist over the German and bringing Frossard with him. So suddenly, Adam, 6 minutes to go. This battle for third, pretty juicy looking.
Who's your money on at the moment?
Frossard. Round the outside of both of them.
No, I think Strybos is going to do it, I can't see...
All over. Well, there you go, on the edge. What were we saying? Fastest lap of the race just a moment ago. And Frossard, well, that's my man down there.
The Paul Malin kiss.
So Frossard was trying his heart out, and he goes down, throws that Monster Energy Kawasaki down the track. Guarneri goes through, Philipparts goes through, Caro will go through.
Where's he going?
Pick himself up. Just be careful when he rejoins the racetrack here, not to collect anybody on the way through, but big moment. And here we go. We're going to see it again right now.
Took us through it here, Paul. What's going on?
Out of the turn. Nothing wrong there. Gets good drive. Pulls a tear off. No distraction there. Gets pitched. Roundabout now. Sideway. Feet off. Couldn't brake. Tried to lock it up. Boom. Gives you some idea how fast they're going to that corner, doesn't it?
Yeah, and just bailed there, didn't he?
Just took the post right out. And I know there'll be people out there blaming me for that, but...
and it wasn't a UFO, it was Stephen Frossard.
Yeah. I'm not even riding his bike.
Where's Simpson? You know, we were just talking about that a minute ago. He was fighting with Caro for the top 10. And if he can pass Stephen Frossard, then he might keep that 5th place in the championship. So some developments late on. And here's that battle. It was 3 riders.
Yeah.
But
who's your money on, Adam?
Like
you don't say everything now, do you?
I'd like to see a fair and entertaining fight.
Yeah. So Nagel, number 12 on the HRC Honda.
The tear off with Frossard. Did he put himself? Did he just, you know?
No,
a
I
fraction
just
of a
think
second?
as he came in, he pulled tear offs all the time, you know, in midair, coming out of corners. This is the corner here.
Yeah, but nobody else is kind of like, you know,
But he
setting
just
themselves up for
caught
this
a
turn.
bump at that point there going in. I mean, when you see the guys going in the corner there, they don't actually look like they're traveling into that corner very, very fast. But we saw from the way that it locked up how quickly he approached that monster boarding and then just, you know, where he ended up. Again, that hill in the background doesn't look that steep on TV, but it is a steep drop-off, isn't it?
I apologise, Kevin, but I really think you're going to get 2nd place here, so please stay on it. Or 3rd place.
Apologise in advance now.
It's Van Horbig. Is that Van Horbig?
Nice.
No, it's not. It's Podisek.
Using a rock there to double over that mogul there, Kevin Strybos. Like that. Using that as a takeoff. One less thing to worry about, but just losing a little bit of drive coming out of that left-hander. Breathing space for Nagel.
And the rider's hugging the left side of that jump now, just trying to find a smoother takeoff space. He's getting pretty knotted, isn't it? That lip there on the top on the right. We saw Hurling's hitting that, you know, abandon earlier on, didn't we, in the MX2 second moto?
That'll promote Tommy Searle to 5th then. And probably 5th overall in the GP for Tommy Searle, I would think. Yep.
Yep. And championship picture, Cairoli, Van Horbig, DeSalle, Strybos, Simpson, Frossard, Nagel, Philipparts. Top 8.
Yeah.
Frossard's still circulating. What position is he in now? Just coming across the line. He's going to reset. He's 3 seconds ahead of Sean Simpson for 9th. He's in 9th place.
Who's he got ahead of him? Caro.
Yeah.
Still
trying to pass Mattis Caro.
They're probably, actually, when they're on form, those two are probably the most entertaining riders to watch, Mattis Caro and probably someone like Stephen Frossard.
Because one is
well, I think just because
next is for a fence.
I think they're just unpredictable nature, you know, everything on the line. Watch this, pitch there, out of the seat, lost his back brake, couldn't stop. By the time he got it back on, back down through the UFO banner.
And I imagine that all happens 3 times faster than it actually does. You know,
oh, yeah.
You're powerless, aren't you?
Exactly. Passenger.
or not.
Or not.
That's David Philipparts there. And Caro's just, he's kind of caught in the middle there a little bit,
Oh,
isn't
that's
he?
Sean Simpson. Was 3 seconds behind, so...
I'll tell you what, Simpson's not dumb. He's going to know that Frossard's right next to him in the championship. So there's your carrot on the string there for the Scotsman.
So still plenty of time left to go here. Cairoli over the line, so it's going to be 3 laps to go.
I'm not going to ask you for your forecast now, Paul, because I think we've used that credit for the a couple of Grand Prix at least.
Although I was disappointed you didn't reply to my tweet that I actually predicted Germany right last time out.
Call it wounded pride.
Yeah. That's payback for the playoff final.
Cairoli's been perfect, hasn't he, this weekend? The starts and everything. Still quite amazing to see that 350 barreling into the first corner so far ahead. You know, we're talking meters ahead of other bikes.
Talking points here in terms of the track, gnarly, Tudor, all those kind of things. Probably more so actually than it has been in the past, because Cairoli just gets a little bit loose there coming over the jump. But you have to treat the circuit with respect, and Cairoli has done that. You know, we've seen Frossard pushing. He set the fastest lap of the race. A lap later, he was down. Another guy who's treating it all with respect here, number 89, Van Horbig. Max Nagel never really pushes the boundaries of the envelope, does he? And so he's always going to be shoe-in for a good start and not doing anything too stupid, you know?
Yeah.
But DeSalle, normally rock solid. Strybos
hasn't made it happen, has he, for 3rd place?
Yeah.
Nagel just in the background there. And it was 4-second gap between this man Van Horbig and Cairoli for the lead on the last lap. I'd say it's a bit less than that at the moment.
4 seconds, yeah.
Cairoli maybe just winding this race down.
Possibly.
There's Nagel. Where's Strybos? And he's kind of backed off a little bit as well. Nagel's got that breather.
That's horrible through there. Earlier on in the day, they wouldn't have been... Watch this. Oh, no, it's got a different line now. he was jumping over that, hitting a rock and just taking off, getting over it. But yeah, those holes and ruts at the bottom of the hill.
Kevin Stryber's having a really good, really solid second half of the season, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just he's managed to sort out a few setup issues on that Suzuki, dealing with some arm pump problems. And, you know, if he could get the sort of starts that his teammate has been doing over the last few Grand Prix, then we should have seen him on the podium more.
Yeah, it'll be his 5th podium.
That's his best season since 2007.
Yeah, I think I said in the first race, probably the best we've seen him ride in a number of years. In terms of consistency, speed, aggression, actually wanting it, that's the difference. No spring chicken, what, 28?
28, yeah. So, you know, you could be harsh and say he's in the twilight. Tony Cairoli, I think, also 28. Or
just different pedigree between those guys. So 2.6 seconds then Cairoli to Van Hoorbeek, but probably got it under control, you would think, Cairoli. Nagel 3rd, but not going to be good enough for a podium because that's going to be this guy here, Kevin Strybos. You say 5 visits now for him. Getting used to it. That's what happens when you get used to being up in the sharp end. You know, starts getting good to you. Here's Tommy Searle. He's going to have to settle for 5th overall, but just 1 point behind Max Nagel on that CLS Kawasaki Monster Energy machine.
What's just going on in the back of the picture behind Tommy Searle there? He's currently 5th place in this race. Like you said, Paul, 5th overall. Guarneri
6th. And from Guarneri's point of view, you know, is that his best race result of the season? I would think it is, because
maybe TM's best finish for a season or two.
Yeah. 8th, previous best. He's had 3 of those this year. Second one, you know, the last one coming in Moto number 2 in Italy. So suddenly,
just making a little mistake with the gear in there to slower up the hill than usual. Still taking that rougher line on the outside just to cut across.
These guys will know they've been to a GP this weekend, that's for sure, because this track is, look, just can't even get on the gas through there, Tommy. The back end was working overtime. And everybody just circulating.
Almost. Yeah, it's just
the difference in time, 3-4 seconds a lap slower than they were doing at the beginning of the race. For a hard track, that's a lot. Just shows you the physical element. There's Cairoli, back marker behind him.
You know, sometimes it's always a little bit reminiscent of Lommel, where the riders are kind of just riding the track rather than racing it towards the end of the motos. Like you say, Paul, I mean, they've just been hit and punched and like, you know, pitched out of that seat and, you know, off those pegs, in some cases more harshly than others, for the better part of like 35 minutes. So it's, you know, a few people are going to be black and blue tomorrow, aren't they? Oh. And at least Clement de Sal.
Just a slight moment there for him as well.
Oh, Nagel just almost losing the front end in the background there.
That is a naughty corner. A couple of guys going down, getting a bit of whiskey throttle, back end coming right round on him. Geiser actually almost went down there in the first race as the back end lit up, but Van Hoorbeek, he'll be pleased with his performance. Another podium for him.
Second place in the championship as well.
But at what cost, though, in terms of, okay, first and foremost, we hope that de Sal is okay, but, you know, that'll be their concern. And, of course, we're getting nearer to the Motocross of Nations as well, aren't we? Latvia at the end of September. These guys need to stay healthy if they want to field their best teams.
Don't have anybody left. A nice big August break for the first time in my sort of 14 years covering the World Championship. All like 3 weeks off in August in the summer, so, you know.
You enjoy it? Because I haven't. Cairoli, though, crosses the line. He wins here. Moto number 2. It's a perfect day in Sweden for the Red Bull KTM factory rider. And he extends his lead, strengthens his grip on a 8th World Championship, potentially. Van Hoorbeek comes over the line in 2nd. That's 2nd overall for him. Nagel crosses the line in 3rd, but will miss out on the podium because the guy in the background, Kevin Strybos, Rockstar Energy Suzuki, he comes over the line in 4th position in the race. That'll be good enough for 3rd overall today, as Tony Cairoli wheelies back to the paddock, and we'll hear from him in just a moment. But Adam Wheeler, just real quick, 5 rounds to go. Where are we heading in this championship? And summary on the race, please.
It's been another major step forward for Tony Cairoli here, isn't it? Not perhaps his favourite track, and really produced the goods for his championship this 6th.
Okay, well, here is Tony Cairoli. He's with Amy.
Tony Cairoli, congratulations. A perfect score at a track that hasn't always been as good to you.
Yeah, I'm really happy for this victory. I dedicate this victory to my girlfriend. Tomorrow is her birthday, so this is my present. And this is my 70 GP win, so pretty awesome weekend here in Sweden. And thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Thanks, Tony, and happy birthday, Joe.
Tony Cairoli then takes his 70th career Grand Prix victory, and he's back on course then for world title number 8. Slight blip the last few weeks, but 2 wins out of 2 here today. And his first GP win since Italy Maggiora, and that, of course, was his last double moto victory. Win number 69 there at home. Jeremy Van Horbeke, though, pushed him in the second moto, kept him honest, but you can see how treacherous and tough and gnarly the track was. Cairoli coming home, an eventual winner then. From Van Horbeke, Nagel was 3rd, Strybos 4th, Searle was 5th, then Guarnieri, Philipparts, Caro, Frossard and Simpson on the Hitachi KTM. Gonçalves in 11th on the bike it cost with the Yamaha. Didaika was 12th, Watson 13th for Red Bull Ice One Husqvarna, 14th Dennis Ulrich, Salz KTM, Philip Bengtsson, Heron Bracker, Philip Turreson, Thurman Gertcher, Jesper Jonsson and Nicholas Gustafsson. Overall, GP then is going to be Tony Cairoli, Jeremy Van Horbeke and Kevin Strybos. Nagel, Searle, Frossard, Philipparts and Simpson, your top 8. Good second moto for Davide Guarnieri, 9th overall for him this weekend. Just like he was in Germany a couple of weekends ago. So another top 10 overall finish for the Ritchie TM. Well, normally the crowds would converge on there, but there we see Van Horbeke moving up a place and Sal losing ground. So 12 points behind Van Horbeke, 57 behind Cairoli all of a sudden. Bitter pill to swallow for Clément de Sal and Rockstar Energy Suzuki. That first turn crash, whether he got squeezed or not by his teammate going into turn 1, who knows, but big moment, that's for sure, in terms of the outcome of this overall GP here in Sweden and possibly even the championship. I say normally the crowd will converge on the podium, but because they're so far up there at the little Mount Everest, it takes a while to get through. But KTM pull clear again in the manufacturer's chase. Suzuki 2nd, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Honda, TM and Husqvarna. Losing ground to TM this weekend. There is Tony Cairoli's Red Bull KTM, centre stage just below the podium on the skybox. They've enjoyed it, we've enjoyed it. Once again, Monster Energy Girls in place as we get ready for the overall podium. But what a GP this weekend again, you know, Tony Cairoli doing what he had to do. But before we see the podium, Tony Cairoli, another foxhole shot for him. Another black plate. And I think he's pulling clear now in that foxhole shot award. That point scoring system, 10,000 euros for the most hole shots in MXGP, 5,000 in MX2. And we'll see Antonio Cairoli on the podium in just a few moments because we are getting ready to go down there. And we are getting ready. So 3rd overall, Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MXGP. From Belgium, the number 22, Kevin Strybos. And for Strybos, 4th in Germany 2 weeks ago, 3rd in Italy, 3rd in Spain, 3rd in the Netherlands, 3rd in Trentino. Getting used to it. Jeremy Van Horbeke, Yamaha Factory Racing, 2nd overall, another Belgian, but both outdone by the Italian. Antonio Cairoli, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, GP win number 70 as well. The T-shirt says it all. Another one in the record books for the diminutive Sicilian, Claudio De Carli. As I said before, being there every step of the way. Every one of those 70 is his 70th as well.
The Vice President of PM Kuidenwalla, Mick Anderson hands over the trophy to Kevin Strybos.
Kevin Strybos takes his 3rd place trophy. Front. Michael Anderson, Vice President of BMK Uddevalla, the motorcycle club that run this event here, and they do a very good job. Second place trophy to Jeremy van Horbeke, Magnus Telling, the President of BMK Uddevalla. And the winner's trophy, the world champion from 1973, you heard it there, in the 250 category, Yamaha's first ever world champion, Håkan Andersson. He lives here in Uddevalla, he's from these parts, and up the cork too early. A little bit overexcited. Tony Cairoli, though, win number 70, does it here in Uddevalla, and the scene of where his title track his title almost came off track with that 2 DNFs in 2012, but 2 wins here, just like last year. Claudio De Carli picking up the manufacturer's trophy for KTM, and the red plate in the hands of Tony Cairoli in black, the FIM delegate this weekend. There's your winners, Antonio Cairoli, Jeremy van Horbeke and Kevin Strybos, and for Tony Cairoli, the national anthem for Italy. Once again, KTM winning manufacturers this weekend, the national anthem for Austria. Antonio Cairoli, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, takes his 70th career Grand Prix victory here at the MXGP of Sweden and the circuit of Uddevalla. Does it with a double moto win. Alongside him, Jeremy van Horbeke, Yamaha Factory Racing, who now moves to second in the World Championship standings, and Kevin Strybos, who takes yet another podium in 2014. His 5th of the season. And every single one of them third place finishes, but he won't mind about that. He's happy just to be up there. And we'll talk to those guys in just a moment. Of course we will, as we always do, but they all seem to be having a nice little laugh and a joke up there, which is always good to see. But Tony Cairoli, as we just said a moment ago, another foxhole shot for him now on 11. Means he can't be caught, really. So before we hear from the riders, let's take a quick look at some of the best moments from the second MXGP race. Gate dropped in MXGP race 2. Good start initially for Clement de Sal up here on the inside, number 25, but he got tagged going into the first turn. Went down hard, got hit in the back, got ran over. Eventually picked himself up and walked away, but did not finish the race. Has lost 25 points in a championship chase. Has lost second in the standings to Jeremy van Horbeke. And it's going to be a long way back into contention for that World Championship crown in 2014. Cairoli now has 57 points advantage over him. Frossard, what about this guy? Making a mistake on the charge through, just after setting the fastest lap of the race. Eventually he came home in 9th behind Mattis Caro on the Wilvo Forkrent KTM, David Philippots on the DP Yamaha. Cairoli, though, went on to win by 4.2 seconds from Van Hoorbeek, Nagel and Strybos. At the podium, Cairoli, Van Hoorbeek and Strybos. And Amy Dargan is down in the winner's circle. Of course, she is as ready as always, getting ready to talk to Antonio Cairoli, our winner this weekend. Win number 70, an early birthday present for girlfriend Jill. Here she is.
Tony, congratulations. 70 Grand Prix victories. That's another huge achievement. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, you know, I feel great. You know, 70 GP win, it's a dream. It's something amazing. And I don't count too much to numbers. That's always my thing. I don't care about numbers so much. But, you know, when you arrive, it's nice to celebrate it for a little bit. And my focus is on the championship. And I start to train better now. It's already 1.5 weeks, and I feel better and better. So I think the last part of the season will be better. I'm feeling better with the bike. We had some changes, and seems it works better. So I'm really happy and looking forward for the next race.
Super, we'll see you in Finland. Well done. And second overall this weekend, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Jeremy, you also inherit second in the World Championship, unfortunately with Clement Dessal's bad luck. But I think most people would agree you definitely deserve it with your consistency.
Yeah, you know, I feel bad for Clement. I don't know exactly what happened, but you never want to take another place because of a crash or something. So I hope he's okay and he can fight next week. I felt really pretty good this weekend, and yeah. So I'm happy with this result. First moto I struggled a bit. We made some changes with the team as for second moto, and it worked out pretty good, and second overall again, and 11 in a row, so it's perfect. You need to.
Thank you, Jeremy. Well done. We'll see you next weekend. And third overall this weekend, Kevin Strybos, who is definitely a hard charger of Moto 1. And tell me how it went for you in Moto 2.
Yeah, it was okay. You know, I got not such a good start. I pushed it to the inside because some other rider pushed me to the inside, and unfortunately I think my teammate was there on the inside and he hit my back wheel, I think, and he crashed pretty hard. So sorry for that, you know, and hopefully he's fine and he's okay. So, but after that, you know, I think first lap got sand in the goggle, and I don't know how was that possible, you know, and that was actually like the end of the race. I couldn't push anymore. I couldn't get close to the other riders, and so fourth was the best what was possible, and yeah, just happy to be back on the podium, and thank you for everything with my team, Rockstar Energy.
Thanks, Kevin. Well done.
Tony Cairoli, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Kevin Strybos, and Strybos there just saying that he got forced from an outside line across the inside. Thought maybe, well, he definitely felt contact. He knows now that that was his teammate. It wasn't deliberate, of course, as we pretty much alluded to. If he was there and clear, then obviously he feels that he's got the room to do that. Not very easy to judge your gaps and distances at that moment in time. You don't certainly have time to look around to see who's there, and there's no mirror signal maneuver kind of thing going on. But unfortunately, Dessau was right in the firing line there and got run over, got hit, got taken out of the race, taken out of second place in the championship as well, inadvertently. But Tony Cairoli, he will march on to Finland and Hyvinkää in a week's time, as will we. And this guy here, Mr. Consistency, he'll be looking to do it all again, try and get himself on this podium once more. Hopefully Clement Dessal is okay, but of course, that's pretty much it for us here in Sweden. And MXGP, round 12. Round 13, Hyvinkää in Finland. The sand track there, it was a good Grand Prix, very choppy, very loamy. It's going to be another test for the riders. And we will see you at Hyvinkää in Finland in 1 week's time. So join us then for more MXGP. And we'll be live, as always. My name's Paul Malin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then. Bye for now.